Hi, let me show you something that I've been working on. Here are links. Let me zoom in a little bit. If you see here, these are paths in my computer, and these are files, paths and files. Note that the extensions are listed. Here's one extension, here's another. And at the bottom, notice I only have this file. That's all I have open. What this macro will do is go under these paths. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard that meow, but this is Charles. He's got the meow. Do you guys hear that? Charlie? Charlie? That's his meow. I'm not kidding you. Meow. What I'm going to do is import these files simply by listing the file location under the path. This could be any path on your computer. And then listing out the files, including the extensions. Watch this trick. I want to then show you how you can, Charles is with me right now, we're hanging out. I want to show you how you can set up a VBA macro for yourself. You can list as many files as you'd like. I recommend no more than the 5 or 7 files you're working on first thing in the morning. Click import. Look at this. It will open any file with any extension. Here it just opened up both my files. Here's the word at the bottom. You see it plop in. Happens to be a cover letter. I'll minimize that. Here is a personal accounting worksheet. All you need is an import list. Set up your paths, set up your files, and this could be more dynamic because say you've made a mistake in one of your files, you haven't added an extension or the file isn't in this location. I'll focus on error messages and making this more user-friendly down the road. But for people that are familiar with VBA, understand what I'm trying to do here and see the opportunity and time saving, I'd like to show you the code. And one thing to emphasize I want to show you is up here under Tools, ensure that References has the proper libraries checked off. And then usually you find them at the bottom. They're in alphabetical order. Make sure you've checked off the proper library and then click Priority to move it up. You see how this Microsoft Scripting Runtime, incidentally, that's what you need for the shell so it can open any file for you, moves up. Do you see how it moves up? And now it's moving down. When you search this initially, it's under Microsoft, which I'll scroll down real quick. If you want to turn your eyes away, don't look at this. It can be painful depending on how many hours you've had in front of the computer. Anyway, alphabetical order, you find it, click it, priority. I don't need this one, but it gives you an idea of everything that's offered with References VBA. I want to check out a tutorial. Look at this, Microsoft SQL. I mean, it's Microsoft Speech Object Library. You want to talk about AI, it's already available. It's been here all along. If you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. But Microsoft has had it in front of us all along. Anyway, check this off. Click OK. The runtime Microsoft is what I need. And these are simply variables. I am doing them. I'm setting the path 1 and 2. And this is not even necessary. You'll see later on I cleaned it up. But the ones I want to give you more focus on these guys here. Dim, FSO, and Scripting.FileSystemObject. FSO stands for File System Object. And then I've also done dim shell. This could be dim x and dim y. Doesn't matter. I can call the variable whatever. It just happens to be more technically proper to name it the shell and the file system object. I view it, and maybe a developer will tell me I'm wrong here, but I view like an Excel and then a document in Excel, the equivalent as a FSO and then an application. But if you're pulling in Excel, sometimes you'll note that Excel itself is an application and then a document is a document. Anyway, I'm probably getting into it more so than I need to. I can tell you for sure this works as you saw it yourself, and I will also reference the sources that gave me this information, and that will be in the link below. I've declared these variables with dim, and I've set them. CreateObject and Scripting.FileSystemObject and Shell.Application. These are system variables. This is what's referred to as a system variable. These are user variables, and I can name them pretty much whatever I'd like to. The FSO and the shell and the path. Now let me scroll down here. I hope you guys can see it. I wish I could zoom in a little bit more. I'll try to zoom in, but this may close out. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. Zoom in a bit more. A bit more. Here, you guys see it? Hopefully it doesn't close me out. All I'm doing is the window and the plus sign. The windows at the bottom of the keyboard left, and the plus windows symbol and minus at the bottom of the keyboard to zoom in, zoom out, and it brings up this magnifier application. Here's the important part. I'm declaring I, and I is just again a variable. I'm declaring it here, and I'm giving it a starting point. I'm making it B1 instead of 0. Let me show you back here. Hopefully this doesn't freeze up. This is the sheet. This is the link sheet. And then it's saying, give me 1, 2, 3, and 1. And then give me 1, 2, 3, and 2. You see how this is column 1, the B is column 2? That's what this is doing. Let me zoom out, and hopefully it doesn't freeze up on me. Let's see. So this is the links, and then 3 rows down, 1 column across. But this is one of my initial approaches. I was using Path 1, Workbook 1, and I was using Path and File for Path and Workbook. And then I decided, well, what if I want 10 of them? Do I need to do like Path 3, Path 4, Path 5, and continue increasing this incrementally to row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7? So your script can get quite long. And I could minimize the script by using a loop. And these are your basics of a loop. Your for I, this can be anything, equals 1 to 3. Make sure that you limit this to something reasonable. 3,000 files, can you imagine your computer opening 3,000 files or it being infinite? So tell it where to stop. Tell it to 3 or to 30. Keep it small, because we're talking, it's going and it's finding files for you. It's going to every single one of these paths and opening files for you. You can see the power in it as well. Let me continue this. So for I equals 1 to 3, and it basically loops, and it starts from 1 and then it increases to 2, increases to 3, and that's when it stops. So you start with the 4, you wrap it with next I, and then it pops up again. Let me give you a F8. scroll through script just to give you an idea. Ignore these. I'm actually going to get rid of this section completely because it's not necessary anymore. And this is usually how you start scripting. You build it long. If you do build it with paths like this, just make sure that you're referencing the paths later. I don't need this anymore, so I've commented it out. What I'm using is this. For I equals 1 to 3. I'm in the loop right now. I'm clicking F8, and you see it's 2 plus I equals 1, and I've set I to 1 up here. It's possible you don't even need to set I to 1. I'll play around with it in another tutorial. No, I think you do need to give I some sort of existence. Maybe it starts from 0. I need to play with it. You guys tell me. Obviously, I haven't played long enough. Otherwise, that should be something that's easily identifiable. Anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent. Here's the path now. X is 3, and you can see I'm using X here for the row, 1 for the column. The links tab. This is the path. This is the workbook. Shell, open path, and workbook. As you see, this is what it's doing. Next I. It just opened up this workbook. Let me go back to it. It may error out because, let me close the word. Close. Let me go back here. Next I. Try it again. This now, notice it went to X equals 4 because I is increased to 2. It bugs out. I'm closing this, click cancel. Click cancel. Let's run this again. The reason it bugs out, I believe, is because the first run opens up a shell and the shell is still there. So, instead of quitting it, I want to keep it running. So let me run the script again, F8. And let's see now that I've closed all the files if it will error out. It shouldn't. Again, this is redundant script except for declaring the I and defining the I equals 1. So I'm saying for I1, I want you to run through this loop until next, and then go back up again. X is 3, runs, opens up the first path, next. Let's see if it runs. Obviously, don't look at the computer when it's doing it. The flickering isn't doing anybody any favors on the eyes. God bless the developers. I don't know how those guys and gals deal with it. Here it is again. It's looping again. But I have a feeling it will error out. For some reason, it errors out, but obviously, and this is as I'm doing the F8 and running through it, but obviously it works. Let me close it. Let's click OK. Same script, you guys. Come up here to import list again. Make sure all these files are closed. And here it is. Let's do import. Watch, the only file I have open is this import list. The macro is, and the VBA code is in this import list. I'm going to click import, and it will open the Word, and it will open the Excel. It does work. It's just that when you run through it, clicking F8, it bugs out because the shell is open, and I think it's still stuck with the previous file. This is something that Jazzfin Company can do for you, and actually most consultants can help you with these things. Forward this on, refer people to this channel, refer other people to other analysts and developers channels. Most of us have tricks that are time saving. Check out jazzfin.com. It's an administrative automation company. and I will catch you in the next video.